Amateur Hour Chiefs Podcast. Amateur Hour Chiefs Podcast. Amateur Hour Podcast on KC Sports Network. Amateur on KC Sports Network. Hour on KC Sports Network. Podcast on KC Sports Net. We're gonna talk Chiefs football for you, and you, and you, and you.
What is this, amateur hour?
Yeah, I ain't no Superman businessman like you. You know, I'm just an
amateur,
I suppose.
Amateur hour
is what's happening.
Amateur hour
Is what's happening.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Yeah, that's right, folks. The show is called Amateur Hour. I'm Ryan Scott Hall, stumbling over my words. And joining me today, a man that, frankly, would just never move to Kansas. This is Dirkness.
Sup? Boy, it sure looks like one of us is excited for Christmas and the other one is not.
The visual gag on this week's Amateur Hour is quite good. His Dirkness with the hat that has a greater capacity than mine, apparently.
Where's your Christmas cheer, Ryan? Get a little life in that thing. I gotta sit back in my chair to get the whole thing in view.
Yeah,
we're doing the pod from back here.
And meanwhile, those of you at home watching are really getting the full show because, believe it or not, folks, the tank is on. The tank is on in Kansas City. The tank is on, and his Dirkness and I are rocking our tanks because
the tank is on. The tank is on. Did we get the number one pick?
I don't think we can get quite that high, but can we challenge tier 8 was the max that they could reach if everybody loses, and
we should be able to challenge teams like the Titans. Like, we think we're worse than you guys. Let's battle this out on the field. I mean, I guess we did already. We can challenge the Raiders next. We think we're worse than you guys. Who's next?
We'll lose
to anybody out there. We'll lose to anybody. Who you got? We'll play you in a parking lot in Brazil at 4 a.m. Anywhere you want, we will lose.
You know, if you lose to both the Titans and Raiders within the final 3 weeks of the season, that really does prove who's the worst.
You should at least get a 5th round pick or something for that. Give us a compensatory 5th round pick for losing to those two teams.
Some sort of benefit from it other than just you and I in tank tops. But hey, not a bad little Festivus gift for everyone. We sit here on December 23rd in the afternoon, a foggy, randomly December day here in Kansas City.
We're going to discuss weather. It's a little rainy here.
Yeah. It's almost as if the weather is kind of mimicking the overall feelings. I've been teaching my students about symbolism this year, and I think that they would say that there's some symbolism in the foggy, overcast, and rainy weather in both of our towns because, it's just kind of gloomy around the Chiefs, apart from the fact that, hey, I think they spared no expense in losing that game to the Titans on Sunday. I mean, truly, they said, "Oh, you got a headache? Cool, you can take a seat. We'll just make you active. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, you only got 7 hours and 38 minutes of sleep last night. You can go ahead and have a seat today too." Chiefs Titans, what a show it was. But let's before we really dig into the depths of Chiefs Titans, we should probably talk about the joke at the beginning of the show about how you would never move to Kansas, since that's what apparently the Chiefs have decided to do. As you sitting in Los Angeles, rarely
Hermosa Beach.
Sure, rarely going to Chiefs games anymore.
Yeah.
Did you start to feel like, oh shit, I need to like go to Arrowhead a bunch now because there's only 5 years left? Or like what's your response to the Chiefs, within a few years leaving Arrowhead Stadium?
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty sad. It definitely crossed my mind that, I'll need to go back before then. Actually, the last game that I went to was at Arrowhead. It was the 2019 comeback blowout against the Texans in the playoffs.
I don't know if I've been to a game since that one. Yeah.
Well, that's embarrassing for you, but
crazy.
I have a good excuse. It sucks. I read something today. People have been probably following this for like 18 months. I have not paid one lick of attention. It's just one of those stories that's just like, I'm going to wait for the ending because I'm not going to jump in at every single turn here. So I don't even know. I was trying to catch up yesterday on what the hell happened. I read today, was it Sam McDowell's article? So I was kind of reading that. He put together a visual that was just like Arrowhead getting knocked down. A lump in my throat, like, oh man, like I was kind of processing them moving, playing in a new stadium, what that would look like. I did not process just the visual of Arrowhead Stadium getting it. That's a bummer. I've always called, I'm not a religious guy. I've always called Arrowhead Stadium my religious sanctuary. That's where I've felt my most spiritual. So it is quite sad. A lot of history there. I don't really know what else to say. I would say I am bummed. I'm quite bummed. I loved everything about Arrowhead Stadium. I adored it. I get the problem that there's nothing around there, but that doesn't, as someone who lives there, it doesn't really bother me. I'm just going there to sit in the tailgate, sit in the parking lot and drink, and then sprint to my seat before the national anthem and yell, "Go Chiefs." But outside of that, I don't need like bells and whistles around the stadium. I get why people would want it. But I never looked for that at all. So and for me, Arrowhead Stadium was perfect. It's everything I've ever known. So I would say I am quite sad from hearing the news.
In terms of like local coverage, and I'd say local coverage that is really trying to like capture the story and not just do like reaction stuff, which I think is a lot of what you'll see in podcasts and radio. I've been reading McDowell on this for, as you said, about 18 months. And Vahe quite a bit too. Vahe says that this story is about something lost, not something gained. And Sam McDowell says that it's about one thing and one thing only: money. I don't know, man. Arrowhead is so special that I have two different pieces of artwork depicting the damn building. Like literally, I have pictures of the stadium on purpose. I care about it a lot. But I also know that it's the third oldest stadium in the league. And I know that Clark Hunt is a businessman. I don't know. Plenty of people are focused on like why they're leaving the Missouri side. And ultimately, I guess I'd say look no further than the bullet that went through Andy Reid's office. Like that is a real story. I don't know. While I'm sure that the mystique of Arrowhead Stadium will struggle to carry over into the new place, I also know that despite being rich and robotic, Clark Hunt is a nostalgic guy that cares a lot about his father's legacy and his own legacy. And so I would imagine that both him and whichever organization, probably from Kansas City, that he chooses to design this stadium, seeing as all of the top sports architecture firms in the country are in Kansas City. I think that this, whatever new Arrowhead is, I'm positive that there are going to be countless little winks and nods to the original Midwestern mecca that is Arrowhead Stadium. And to me, I mean, look, it's going to be very weird to randomly, go to football games at a stadium that isn't Arrowhead here in Kansas City. That will be strange. But I think as long as they make sure that there's a gigantic ass slab of concrete for us to tailgate on, we'll make sure that that part of the culture remains the same. And if you guys, and by you guys, I mean like literally anyone, if you guys want to get upset about what side of the state line they're playing on, or their motivations for leaving, or how it all materialized, I mean, I guess, but like, to me, that's not, I think, what's important here. Like we can talk about how the Chiefs really sold Missouri short, or we can talk about how if you're a Missouri resident, you just got to auto vote for that so that you keep the team or whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't think ultimately any of that was necessarily going to keep the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Building a new stadium is the right decision. And I wonder, one aspect of this that I think a lot of people are going to talk about and think about until we actually see like the full vision is this idea of a dome. Do you care at all about like the outdoor football experience? Do you think, as Vahe said, that there might be something lost when you shift from cold football, Arrowhead, December and January to a dome? Do you think that is that something that, like, as part of your I'm bummed that Arrowhead is going away, does that have any bearing on it?
Yeah. I don't like domes. I like elements for the playing football in the elements. I like that. I think it's an advantage for Kansas City. I mean, look no further than the Dolphins coming here and playing a freezing playoff game. I mean, they were basically beaten before the opening whistle. So I definitely like that. And then just, aesthetically, I like it in the elements.
Is it possible that they're doing like retractable or whatever? Because Clark has talked about caring about the elements for his team too. I feel like he's even said that he thinks that being able to play December football in December weather is an advantage for the Chiefs.
See, I didn't think anything was finalized either, but I keep seeing like domed stadium. So, I mean, this is one of those things that I'm just not following. Hey, Nick, if you know, chime in the chat. But I don't.
They're selling when we put a roof on this, we can get a Super Bowl, we can get a Final Four. Like, it becomes one of the premier venues in the world because of the amount of money that they're talking about spending on it and everything they want to build around it and so on and so forth. And that all makes sense.
Sounds like the Sprint Center luring a NBA team here.
I mean, yeah. I'm interested to see like what actually happens, but I do think that they're saying having a dome is going to be part of this, not necessarily that it is always domed all the time, because I think Clark wants the best of both worlds. If the Chiefs are playing a home game, he wants the roof to be open. And if there is a game that wants to be played there in climate control, he wants to be able to provide that too. And I think that that's probably what they'll go. Like, if you're going to spend $3 billion on a stadium, get you a building that can do both, Yeah,
but then if you're playing that playoff game against the Dolphins, there's no way that they're not like closing it up. They're not gonna sit there in negative 5-degree weather. And
why not? Like that is,
they talked about postponing that game because it was so cold. It's an easy we'll just close it up. There's no way.
Yeah, but I mean, I think wherever that threshold might lie, I mean, maybe they don't go to negative 15, but if it's 0 degrees, I don't think that means that because it's below freezing or whatever, that suddenly that just instantly means they'll close the roof. I could be wrong, but I do think that
I don't think there's no way they're going to build like the roof just to use it for special events, is there?
I mean, honestly, if you get to get a bunch of concerts that you wouldn't normally get, and you host a Final Four and a Super Bowl and whatever, like one Super Bowl pays for the retractable roof. You know, getting it one time makes it worth it. And so I don't know. I mean, but they could also, like, depending on how that works, a lot of the places that have had like the draft and stuff, like Jerry just hosted it at the stadium, right? Like if the Chiefs wanted to continue to do some of those things, they could say, well, we'll just use the stadium and we'll, you know, host whatever. I guess the Pro Bowl is in like February, just because it's indoors. People
We're gonna get the Pro Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, we are down real bad.
So I got Pro Bowl on the brain. The roster.
We haven't been able to play in the Pro Bowl for years, and now we're hosting it.
I think at the end of the day, there are a lot of people upset, and I don't want to say that anybody's reasons for being upset are valid or invalid. It's going to be the end of an era. I think a lot of people are going to be making the pilgrimage home over the next, 5 seasons and saying, like, I got to catch one more at Arrowhead. A lot of people trying to get their last opportunities in. What has already been an expensive ticket will be even more expensive, I would guess, as we get closer and closer to the end here. And I can't even imagine what like the final AFC championship at Arrowhead might be. We'll see.
Let's boo.
Let's take a break.
I'm Brett Goodwin, one of the owners of The Learning Tree. The Learning Tree is a neighborhood toy store in Prairie Village, Kansas. This has been here in this location since 2000s, and my husband Alan and I purchased the store in 2023. Alan and I grew up in families where we've always wanted to have a business together. Alan grew up, for instance, his parents had a jewelry store. I worked in a local toy store here in Prairie Village when I was growing up. When this opportunity happened in 2023, we knew right away we wanted to contact them and pursue the store. We wouldn't have been able to get the store without the team at Emprise Bank. From the day we contacted them, they knew what we needed to do, which was very helpful. I would absolutely recommend the team at Emprise Bank to anyone looking to secure a business. We worked with Emprise from day one. They were extremely helpful. They were always great resources. We talk to them frequently. They know the area. They're very friendly. We know who we're going to talk with, and they know what we need to do. We hope we'll see you at the Learning Tree.
Missouri, your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day. The tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KCSN. New Missouri customers bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KCSN. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Hey, we're back. And the Chiefs still lost 26-9 against the Titans. That did not change over the break. It hit the under on 37.5, which I thought was an impossibly low number. I don't know, Dirk, would you categorize Sunday's game as like quiet quitting? I said the tank is on, but I have heard many of folks in response to that game saying the Chiefs were genuinely trying to win. They were trying so hard to win. They're just that bad without Mahomes.
But
I mean, did you get the sense that the Chiefs were really putting the A+ work together against the Titans?
No, I mean, they couldn't have cared less. I mean, this is a team that played in the biggest of big games. If you're playing in a meaningless December game, go out there and go through the motions, take your paycheck and head home. But the conclusions drawn from that game is just like, what were they expecting? I mean, were they watching the offense the last 2 weeks with Patrick Mahomes? Were you expecting an improvement over that?
They were expecting Brashard Smith to get 20 carries and Jalen Royals to get 12 targets and Jeffrey Bossa to play 55 defensive snaps. And because those things didn't happen, the whole game was a failure. I don't know. I thought it felt really good to take a break. I think that there is a weight that comes with, being the best team in the league. Everybody's got a target on your back and, it feels like you're going to get everybody's best shot every single week. And even though we were able to talk about how sometimes like the week to week stuff didn't feel like it mattered so much during the regular season because they were going to inevitably end up in the playoffs. You're laughing at my yawn.
I think you're yawning while making a point about the game.
I'm on Christmas break. It's relaxed, man. I think, hey, it feels good. It feels good to take a break. I'm just telling you, man. Like there's a lot that comes with being, the Chiefs in the Mahomes era and, the covering of the team in the capacity that we do, even in our amateur capacity, it still is like something that's always just kind of looming. And this was the first game in a long time, apart from every week 17 or 18 game when they're not really caring or like a preseason. It felt like preseason. Just being able to kind of be like, I guess some of these guys are going to play and maybe I'll care about a few of the guys that are on the field, but mostly you guys probably are going to be on the team next year or this year, like whatever it is. Like I just kind of, I don't know. It's fine.
I kept wrestling with, obviously Chiefs are always on the main TV and then my secondary TV will be whatever, red zone or a variety of games, whatever. And it was just like the whole time I was like, man, these other games, getting good. They're getting good. This Chiefs game falling apart. So the whole time I was like, when do I make the switch here? Eventually, I went to the multi-view down on the main TV and switched the Chiefs to the secondary TV. That's a rare scene for a Chiefs game to get moved.
Do you think so? Once Minshew got hurt, they had nothing left really. No offense to Chris Oladokun, but you're on like
better than Minshew, didn't we?
You're on your third quarterback and you're on like your third string tackles. And it's just, you're not going to be able to get a whole lot done.
And they barely hit below their season point total from the last 2 weeks. Credit to the
really.
You're averaging 11.5 points a game the last 2 weeks with Mahomes. So I'd say hitting 9 points, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And look.
And you're seeing, if you're judging effort, you're going to be judging effort on the defensive side where they gave up 26 points to the Titans. And just a quick look here, that is the second most points they have scored on the season is 26. So I don't think the defense was too into that game.
No, I don't think anybody was too into that.
Where should they be?
On the Chiefs side of the ball. They understood the assignment. It was to lose, and they did that very, very well. Grateful to the Chiefs for losing.
The tank is on. I get it. With that, I would love to cause the Broncos some harm in their playoff chase. So I would like to beat the Broncos. I don't know if it's really possible on the table, but I would, if that leads to like them not getting the 1 seed or something, or like even the Chargers could still win the AFC West. I saw that would be fun. So if I can help in any way in that, I would be down. That
Broncos game, man. Okay, so look, it's 2 days away. As I said, we're sitting here on Festivus. When you're listening to this, it's going to be Christmas Eve, and
nobody's going to be listening on Christmas Eve. Listen to these two schmucks talking about a shitty ass football team on Christmas Eve. What's wrong with you guys? Go be with your families.
When this episode comes out, it'll be Christmas Eve, and our listeners are day ones. That thing drops, and they're pressing the download and pressing play.
Go do something.
Look, I think that this game on Christmas has the potential to be statistically the worst game in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. Literally ever. I don't know what the worst loss for the team is statistically.
I don't know if it gets much worse than the Broncos beating us at the end of last year. Statistically.
And that is 100% what I expect. As thorough and unrelenting an ass kicking as they can possibly put up. I think that Sean Payton is going to say, do not hold back at all. Score every point you can, blitz every freaking play, just annihilate this team. I 100% believe that that's what the Broncos are going to try to do on Christmas night.
Last year, we lost 38-0. They had 479 yards of offense, and the Chiefs had 98 yards of offense.
Yeah. I think
5 first downs in the game.
I think it might look a lot like that, like one team that is trying to send a message and another one that's trying to send a very, very different message. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to put Buechele on the field. They claimed him off of the Bills practice squad. He is in Kansas City. He's got his uniform. He will be on the sideline. And he knows generally the playbook, especially if you guys want to believe all the shit that we're saying about Andy not changing any of his plays since 1975 or whatever. Buechele knows the playbook. So does the other team, apparently, right? Like everyone knows Andy's playbook at this point, they say.
Which still magically worked last year and then just stopped this year.
Right. I do think that the Chiefs have a better chance to win with Shane Buechele than they do with Chris Oladokin. I don't know if that's like a hot take.
Let's debate. Let's debate.
But this is a serious question, and you're gonna laugh when you hear it, but I am not joking. Can you forfeit an NFL game? Because if there's not a rule against it, I know you said that you want to do something to harm the Broncos in their playoff pursuit or whatever. If there's ever been a game for you to just be like, you guys can have this one. It's this game. It's Christmas. It's 7:15 p.m. local time. You're gonna get destroyed. This will not be competitive. And it's a rival that would just love nothing more than to twist the knife in a standalone game on Christmas night when you have been kicking their ass for 7 years. This could be ugly, literally the worst game in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I'm just asking, can we forfeit? Because if you just say, honestly, it would take the wind out of their sails. You want to piss off the Broncos, you really want to take the joy out of their Christmas, just forfeit. It's fine, guys. Go to the plaza, go eat some Jack Stack. You can have the win. It's fine. We'll play the Raiders next week. They're more our speed right now. Okay. You guys, a bit too intense for the vibe that the Chiefs are putting out. That's my take. That's my take. I think, can we forfeit this game against the Broncos? Is it possible?
I like it. I had no idea what the spread would be. I looked it up and it's 13.5.
Yeah. Chiefs are not going to cover.
Plus 650 on the money line, on the money line. If you want to go to pick.
I think that the Broncos could probably play whoever Bo Nix's backup is and still win by double digits.
Highest underdogs at home for the Chiefs since 1977, according to producer Nick. Good find. That's wild. That's wild that we were bigger. We weren't bigger underdogs to when we played the undefeated Packers that year.
Oh,
Kyler.
That
had to be close. I'm sure that was in the 12 range.
I had 2-3 wins at the time too.
I think we were 7-9 that year. I think.
Oh, really? I thought we were very bad.
Well, that led to the Romeo hire, and then we went 2-14 with Romeo.
Sure. After the Chiefs play the Broncos on Christmas. They still have one remaining game against the Raiders. This game hasn't even been determined when it's going to be played. It might be the 3rd or the 4th of January. Still up for scheduling. Apparently, the flex is fully on, and in addition to the tank being fully on. Wow, the Raiders are bad. I
got 11 and a half for the Packers that day in 2011. And we won. Suckers.
I gotta say, we joked about losing to the Titans and Raiders and how that should qualify the Chiefs for a higher draft pick. The real benefit that I had not considered at all until I listened to my second favorite podcast behind ours. Man, the Chiefs are going to get a 3rd place schedule, Dirk.
I guess. I mean, you know who the 3rd place teams are?
No.
I don't think it's those. But it's the Bengals.
It's probably the Bengals in the North.
Colts.
The Colts are in 3rd
and the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins.
So I guess 4th would be a lot nicer. Can we drop to 4? Ooh, 4 games. We're gonna have to lose 4 more games before the end of the year.
Yeah, we can't lose 4 more. That's not gonna be possible. Cannot get below the Raiders.
Oh, Raiders?
3rd place schedule still. I mean, look, the Bengals are tricky, sure. This might be the first time the Chiefs don't play the Bills in God knows how long.
Yeah, you'd have to see what divisions they're playing. Nick, can you look up who the Chiefs are playing next year? I'm gonna put Nick to work today. I don't think he's been paying attention the last couple of weeks.
That's fair. Deservingly so.
Nick's taking this podcast as seriously as the Chiefs taking their games now.
I did see. I don't know if this matters to you. Hey, NFC North. Doesn't that mean I think we play both Norths?
What AFC division, Nick? This is riveting.
Yeah.
Are you guys loving this at home? AFC East playing the Bills.
Okay, gonna get the Bills next year.
Keep the streak going. So we did the playoffs, baby.
So we wouldn't get the Dolphins a second time.
Yeah, so it just goes through the other 2 teams. So you get the Bengals and the Colts, which are basically locked in. It looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I did see that if the Chargers beat Houston at home on Sunday and then go and beat the Broncos in Week 17, that they will win the AFC West. And I would rather that. I would rather the Chargers win because I feel like the Broncos are better than the Chargers. And I just, any way to piss on those Broncos, I would take that. So rooting for the Chargers against the Texans and Broncos the next couple weeks. That's pretty much all the rooting I think I've got left in me this year, apart from rooting.
Cheer for the Chargers over the Texans. That's what you're putting your eggs in.
I'm cheering for the Chargers to win the AFC West over the Broncos and for the Chiefs to lose the next 2 games. That's the rooting I've got left. Let's take a break real quick. We'll do this on these.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
We're back again. Have you been thinking about who you want to win the Super Bowl since we're not gonna?
Oh yeah, a little bit. I mean,
we joked about Josh needing to win a real ring if he won this one. That it would almost be kind of
it's kind of win-win because if he wins one, you could say, well, he couldn't beat Mahomes, and if he loses, it's just like, I mean, it's kind of that would be pretty detrimental to Josh. I think. I mean, with the field looking like it is, I mean, they should win the AFC. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be easy, but I don't think if not now, then when are you going to win it? When are you going to win it? Because I mean, the good quarterback teams are going to reload here.
I don't think about.
I mean, the easy answer is just not the Patriots or the Broncos.
Yeah,
I think the Jags would be a lot of fun. The Texans, sure. I mean, I always look for teams that have fans that have kind of suffered. Yeah, the Panthers on the NFC, not the Eagles. Bears would be fine, I guess. Although Caleb's kind of, I don't know, like Caleb. Packers, I guess. Panthers would be great. Rams are okay. Seahawks would be fun. 49ers, man. I think the Jags have a legit chance too, man. I don't think anyone's hotter right now than the Jags. They look good. That loss seems so bad, and I don't think they've lost since that game, have they?
I'm kind of rooting for the Jags. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I'm technically rooting for the Bills because there is no other franchise tortured quite like the Bills, I think. I mean, the Browns are, I don't even know how to categorize what that is. But, you know, the Bills are one of those key brethren. And I do think that it would make the rest of Mahomes' career and the rest of Josh's career a little more spicy, even though it wouldn't be this deciding game between the two of them in the playoffs this time. Josh getting a ring, even without having to do with Mahomes, like it just makes it more interesting, I think. And so I'd be down with that. But I also said,
well, I was just saying, it kind of legitimizes like the Chiefs' playoff wins too. Like, we've literally stood in the way of like an all-time team not reaching the Super Bowl. Like the one there's the DVOA stats that are kind of both out there on the Bills and Ravens. Yeah. But the Ravens have been kind of up and down during that time. Some really great teams, and then some other years where Lamar was hurt, I guess. But the Bills consistently great that entire time. The best, I can't remember which one was the number one team, but I think it was 1 and 2 with the best 5-year stretch of a team to not make the Super Bowl because there was literally one team in their way, and it was the Chiefs. So it's kind of like you can kind of like poke holes in like the Patriots run kind of thing. Like, well, their division was always awful. Like they never had a team like the Broncos going whatever they are, 12-3 or whatever. So they never had to really deal with that within their own division. And then I guess they're playing against Peyton Manning, so I guess that's kind of fair. But literally standing in their way every single year, and then the one year we don't make it, that's when they push through and make it. It's like, well, okay. I mean, we were the reason. We were the reason you guys didn't make it.
The one AFC contender that you did not mention is the Pittsburgh Steelers, which you got some against Aaron Rodgers, or
I got nothing against Rodgers. I got nothing. I don't think Rodgers nearly as much as everybody else now. I'm almost a Rodgers fanboy at this point.
I think
he's actually played pretty good. I've been pretty impressed. Like I did not think he could look as good as he has. I don't know if I'd say all season, but the last few weeks. He had 1 week. It was not this week, but a week or two ago, and he was dealing. Of course, I look at every NFL quarterback throwing dimes down the sideline now. I'm like, must be nice to complete a deep pass, put one on the money every once in a while there.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if this surgery and all the rehab and stuff is going to help clean up the footwork or the lower body strength or whatever, and ultimately help him throw the ball a little bit more accurately deep.
Also, if you're looking for another thing about the Bills winning, if you're looking for the most motivation possible for Patrick Mahomes, it would be a near unanimous opinion that Josh Allen is now the best quarterback in the league. And I don't think it'd be wrong. Like I have a problem with it if Josh just goes out here and loses to the Jaguars in the divisional round or something. And then people are going to be like, well, Josh is the best quarterback just because it looks like it. Like I watch the games and it just kind of feels that way. I think the QB championship belt could be up for grabs. I'm fine with that, but I need to see someone take it. Stafford go out and win another Super Bowl. All right. I mean, you're king of the mountain right now. Josh Allen go out there and at least make a Super Bowl. Okay. Then here it is. But I'm not going to be fine with like Josh losing another playoff game. And it's just like, well, he looks like he's better than every other quarterback. So he's the best now.
Did you happen to see the promo that Fox put together where it's like all the quarterbacks are in a waiting room and the old lady's at the microphone and she keeps saying, now serving number 15. And it's like showing, Josh and Lamar and Stafford and Burrow and all of these guys waiting their turn. And it's just like it keeps kind of repeating. And someone's talking like honestly, it's a very, very cool promo for the upcoming playoffs that Mahomes isn't going to be there. And so hey, it might be someone else's time. I thought it was a cool nod to the dominance of the Chiefs and how wide open these playoffs are going to be.
No, that is cool. I favorited it and then never circled back and watched it. But I saw it going around.
Time, for sure. It's pretty.
I'll check that out. I'll watch it. Should I watch it right now? Should I watch it live?
I don't know.
You guys can listen to me watching a video. Wow. Ooh.
Dirk's really liking that one.
His face is lighting up. His hat. Whoa.
Look at that thing. Let's shift gears to this NFL Network report that Matt Nagy chose not to sign an extension.
He chose?
You didn't see the report?
Nah.
So it said that he chose not to sign an extension going into the final year, and that he is a big-time head coaching candidate. And if he doesn't land a head coaching job, this opens the door for him to be a play caller somewhere else.
Oh,
and so
the beginning.
I don't know. So let me say this. I've obviously been thinking about what possible changes might be coming for this football team in response to a failure of a season. And I'm not positive that this is how it works, but while watching Chiefs Titans, I was thinking about the run game and thinking about like the Titan staff. And I'm like, you know what? They had the Callahans and they got fired, or Bill resigned in solidarity with his son. And I'm like, that means Bill Callahan is available. Like the Chiefs could hire Bill Callahan to come and coach their offensive line. And in my head, I started thinking, well, that would be like a change in scheme. That would be a change in philosophy. Some concepts might be, we would want more of this and less of that, or we would want it to be blocked a slightly different way or whatever. And like Andy Heck has been with Andy Reid the whole time they've been in Kansas City. But I don't know. I thought that maybe like, is it possible that new position coaches would have as much or maybe even more of an impact than an offensive coordinator might? And I don't, that's more of a rhetorical question. It just kind of got my mind working, because it may not matter because with contract for Matt Nagy being up at the end of 25, it's kind of convenient for the Chiefs a little bit that this is what he chose to do. Like, especially if you're of the opinion that Andy Reid's offensive coordinator is sort of meaningless, like Nagy leaving doesn't necessarily do a whole lot to what happens, throughout the week or on Sundays, if you believe that it's just Andy Reid and a bunch of people that work underneath him. But the report kind of hinted that Nagy was choosing to leave in order to call plays. So I guess here's my question. Is a coordinator leaving Kansas City to call plays somewhere else, is that a promotion in your mind? Like if Matt Nagy working under Andy Reid versus Matt Nagy, working in Seattle next to Mike McDonald and getting to be like the Spags, like the offense is yours, just call it. I'm a defensive minded coach, so you take care of the offense. Is that a promotion?
Yeah, I would say so. I was trying to think of where. So Bieniemy left and went to the Commanders to become assistant head coach and offensive coordinator.
He did 1 year there.
I assume he was.
And then he went to UCLA, and I don't even know if he lasted the season. Him and who's the running back for the Panthers?
Deshaun Foster.
Deshaun Foster got hired to be the head coach and Bieniemy his offensive coordinator. And I'm like, this is so backwards. Like Deshaun Foster never coached, I don't think, at any level.
Yeah, he was a train wreck. No, I think that's an interesting idea. I was looking up Bill Callahan's history. He was with the Eagles from 95 to 97, but Andy was not there yet. He took over in 99. But yeah, I don't. So I some thoughts on Nagy. He's kind of become like the scapegoat or like the symbol of like what's wrong with the Chiefs, even though before the season, I think we would all kind of scoff at that idea. So it might just be like a symbol that like they need to make some changes. And one thing I've been struggling with is I just don't know where those changes are going to come, because Spagnuolo is going to be back. Andy's going to be back. So what else are they going to change other than just like bringing in new blood kind of thing? And it almost has to be like Nagy's spot or we're all the way down to like position coaches. But I maybe just like minds in the room. But I think he's kind of become like symbolic of it. So I don't know if it's really just like him necessarily, but like the vitriol is all pointed at him. Like he is definitely the scapegoat at this point. So I'm all in favor of it. I think he's probably being blamed too much. I mean, Nagy was around in 2022 when was kind of, almost the best output for this Chiefs offense compared to like the talent. Like it was the only time they were the best offense in the NFL post Tyreek Hill. So that was almost like the biggest accomplishment of the Chiefs. So he was around for that. Obviously things have changed since then, have gone stale, I guess you could say. So I'm in favor of getting rid of him, I guess, just because that would mean that they're making some kind of change in the coaching staff, which I think we'd all agree that we want to see. And we're all kind of nervous because Andy doesn't have a good history of doing that. So I am in favor of it. That's interesting that Nagy would turn down the contract. I wonder if they've almost kind of agreed to part ways already, and just kind of make it look nice. Cause Andy's not going to there's not going to be like a fired Matt Nagy report. I don't think it would be like Nagy's pursuing other opportunities, wants to be a play caller, yada, yada, yada. Like it's not going to be, he fired him. And so that might already be in the works for all we know. And that's kind of what's been going on now, but Andy will help him get his next job. I'm sure. I can't imagine a team hiring him as the head coach. God, that would be an uninspiring hire. But yeah, so I'm in favor of it. Brian Callahan, I'm always in favor of bringing in former head coaches, and putting them in, lesser roles. I think that's almost always a good move. So while I thought Brian Callahan was an absolutely terrible head coach, that would be a fun name to just throw in there. As I'm sure a number of other names that might be floating around would be.
Well, so I think Brian, Bill's son, before he got the Titans head coaching job, he was the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he worked under Taylor. Interesting. Was Zach Taylor a Nebraska guy?
Yeah, he was a Nebraska quarterback. Yeah.
Because I thought was that his connection with Callahan, potentially?
He would have been the quarterback under Callahan, yeah.
Okay. I dropped a link to a tweet in the chat from the one and only Rainey Gisarli. When Eric Bieniemy took over for Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator, because Nagy left for Chicago to take the Bears job, conveniently he got the first 5 years of Patrick Mahomes. So the offense in points scored first, fifth, sixth, fourth, and first from 2018 through 2022. The highlight there being never worse than sixth in scoring, while Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator. And you mentioned that Nagy is like the whipping boy or the scapegoat or whatever phrasing people want to choose. And the reason is because when Eric Bieniemy left town and Matt Nagy became the offensive coordinator in 2023, the Chiefs in scoring have been 15th each of the last two seasons. Now, we can all poo-poo the importance of the offensive coordinator when we want to say it doesn't matter that much, or we can inflate it when we do want to say that it matters a lot. Ultimately, I don't know what they do here. I don't think that even with all the pieces that were written about, well, when it's in the red zone, Andy does this, and then Doug Peterson does this, and then Bieniemy does this, and like there's this intricate play between all of them. Sure. At the end of the day, it's Andrew Walter Reed. And if history tells us anything, Matt Nagy might move on to greener pastures, and the Chiefs will just bring in a familiar name like a Mike Kafka. That feels like the writing is on the wall there as a very, very live option for the Chiefs. And ultimately, I don't know if that's going to satiate the people that are all pissed off and say, well, we need to change this or we need to change that. Do you care who they hire as offensive coordinator? Like, is there anything about this offseason, whether it's an offensive coordinator hire or a player acquisition or somebody that they have to cut? Like, is there something that feels like this is what you're zeroing in on for the offseason?
In terms of coaches or offensive coordinators?
I mean, literally anything. Just the agenda, man. Like, I think most people right now are probably thinking first and foremost about that offensive coordinator position. They think the offense let everybody down, and so they want new blood in there. They want a new voice. They want somebody outside of Andy's tree, and I think that is at the top of everyone's wish list. Give us a name from outside the organization that will challenge Andy's thinking as offensive coordinator. I think that's what everyone wants. Or is that where you're at too?
I mean, yeah, some new blood would be good. But I mean, just a couple things. They're never going to the offense from 2018 to 2020 or 21, whatever you want to say. They're not going to ever repeat that because they're just not going to have that talent level again. I do think 2022, they stayed first, and that's what makes everything kind of look weird. I think that will kind of be the outlier year amongst all this. So I don't think they'll ever reach that height again. But I mean, so I don't think that's a Bieniemy Nagy thing. I get where people draw the line. It kind of makes sense. The other weird thing is like they could have easily brought Bieniemy back. It seems like now because he's just a running back coach in Chicago. Like, so it almost makes me wonder if like there's some kind of, I don't want to say bad blood, but they just don't. There was weird reports when he left too. Like things seemed kind of weird. Like someone might not have liked each other. Who knows? But it seemed like if they wanted Bieniemy back, it'd be pretty easy to just lure him back if he's just an RB coach in Chicago and doing a damn good job by the looks of it.
I think they lead the league in rushing.
They're a horse when it comes to running. And then the second point is I think the changes are more likely to come from within Andy. Like I don't think they're going to, have this full new brain trust and Andy turns over the power of the offense to someone else. It's going to be Andy drawing up a new offense kind of thing, which he has done. I mean, he's made changes to the offense that he's run before. Obviously, the Alex Smith offense was extremely different than the Patrick Mahomes offense was when he first got here. So I think he is capable of making changes like that, bringing in new blood to help that. Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Kafka, I'm all for that. He seems like a bright mind. So anyone who's going to come in here and help him, redesign this thing, I'm in favor of. So that's that. But ultimately, it's going to be Andy who I think is signing off on this, and Andy himself making the changes, whether that's with the assistance of someone else or not. But I think, do you follow what I'm saying? Like it's going to be Andy making. It's not going to be like Cliff Kingsbury comes in and he runs Cliff Kingsbury's offense, and Andy is just kind of the overseer kind of thing. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I don't. And I don't think anyone is expecting that per se. It's not that Andy would completely abandon the league role or all of his history with the West Coast offense or I hear people say Don Coryell's offense is more Andy Reid than Bill Walsh, but I don't know all of that. I do think it's interesting though, like what's tied up in all of this for me is Andy's age and knowing that like he's been asked a lot over the last few years. You mentioned a couple weeks ago, like, would it surprise you if Andy just retired when this season is over? And I think that all of those things, they're starting to weigh on me in a way that it makes me think a lot about like the succession plan for Andy. Teams have to do this with quarterbacks all the time. You get a quarterback to a certain age and you think about like, when is it the right time to draft somebody? And then the conversation switches to, is your current quarterback going to groom his understudy? Is it the starter's job to help the new draft pick? And we've seen some guys do it and some guys say, I'm not doing that at all. And people get lauded for different things that they do, especially you think about Alex Smith and what he did for Patrick here in Kansas City. But I guess because it's a coaching thing, it's so different. Like, I have a million questions. Does an Andy Reid succession plan exist? Is part of his responsibility as head coach to groom his replacement? Like, I don't know if it's in his job description. It does seem like if Nagy wants to leave somewhere to call plays, that's something Andy could do if they think that Matt Nagy, like if they are grooming Matt Nagy, then Andy could say, okay, well, you're going to call plays this year then, and I'm going to take a step back in some type of way. And I don't know if that's what we want. I don't know, but like Andy has 3 years left on his current contract. Would he give up play calling? Is there some other kind of scaffolding that he might do if he is grooming a Matt Nagy or a Mike Kafka or Nathan Shieldhouse people keep talking about? Like, I don't know how any of that works, and those are all very interesting questions to me. Does any of that strike you as something like worthy of your time or worthy of thought? Because I can't stop thinking about, like, does Andy owe it to anybody to groom a replacement, or has Andy got tunnel vision on, I want to win as many games as I can while I'm still coaching, and whatever happens when I leave is not my priority? Because that would be totally fine too. Like, I don't know how often coaches are asked that, because they don't reach the retirement age. They're just trying to, stay alive for another season. Maybe hopefully earn a contract extension or get a shot somewhere else. Like, guys don't get to coach as long as Andy Reid. And so thinking about how it ends and what all that looks like is a luxury. But I don't know what the Chiefs have done and what they've thought about it and what Andy thinks about it.
I would say, I don't know if Andy's thought about it, but I don't think he would. I don't think there's any scenario where he'd kind of hang the, franchise out to dry kind of thing. Like, it's just everything in nature seems, everyone around him loves him. So I think he does things the right way. If he was planning to, I've got 2 more years, or he's going to finish this contract or something. So you said he has 3 more years. I'm going to put in my 3 more years, and then I'll help the team however I can with a succession plan. I don't know if he's going to like pick the guy. It seems like a lot of like college coaches kind of do that. Like, they will like almost like their son or something, or like they just have like a long-term assistant. Like, I'm going to retire, but you're going to hire this guy. I don't think it would be like that necessarily. Mostly because I don't know who the hell that would be. If Nagy goes, then who would it be? Spags, Dave Tobe, head coach. So I don't think it's that. I think Andy would do things the right way. I wrestle with the same question, because everyone's like, well, we need to see changes. And I'm just like, well, what changes can we possibly see? And I don't know the answer to that, because it's just like, a lot of these guys are coming back. I don't know if they have the ammunition to make a big trade or anything. I don't know if they're going to, trade away one of their star players to try and reload kind of thing. Like, it's hard for me to imagine where these changes come, even though everybody agrees that we need to see big changes. Craig was telling me on 21 Questions, he thinks big changes are coming in the coaching staff, but it's not going to be Spagnuolo. So then it has to be just new guys on the offensive side, I guess. Or a position coach on the defense, or I don't know. I keep wrestling with that. You might be talking more about more in the future, or I'm kind of focused more on this off season, but I don't know. It's hard for me to see what they're gonna do, or even who's having that conversation. Andy and Veach just sitting there like, who can we bring in to spice this up a bit? I don't know. It's such new territory, and I haven't thought about this shit in so long. Like, I don't. It's like a foreign concept. It's like a foreign language to me right now. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what can they do to reach changes? One thing, unless you want to keep talking about coaches, the biggest thing that I've kind of come around on, just talking about this. We were kind of talking about this last week. I didn't have any concrete answers. Me and Craig talk about it in group chats. What can they possibly change? I think needing a better run game is the easiest thing to change. And maybe the unit most in need of change. Like, it might be where they're at their worst right now, just in terms of scheme, talent at running back, and that kind of thing. And you just look at the best offenses in the NFL right now, as we were kind of looking at, as all the top offenses right now, they maybe not carried by their running game, but they all have like a strong running game. And that's just where the NFL is in 2025 now. Like, and people might be scoffing like, oh, Andy Reid's never going to lean into the running game, so what does it matter? I think it matters a lot. I think you need to have at least somewhat of an effective running game. You need the threat of a running game to have a good offense. And that will be like the easiest thing to change schematically, because I think it seems like the schematics and the running game is really poor. So find a way to change that up, bring in like a run game coordinator kind of thing. And if that's Bieniemy, I'm all for bringing Bieniemy back if that's what it takes. And then just add some talent at running back, which is the cheapest position to bring in, young talent. Draft a couple guys late in the rounds, pay like a cheap free agent, like all these Dobbins or Dowdle. Like we saw these guys go for cheap in free agency, and they had a lot of juice to them. So find a guy like that. So I think that's kind of like the cheapest way and like the biggest problem, the worst unit on the team, I guess I would say. So I think that's where I'm kind of focused on is what can they do to improve their running game in 2025 or 2026. And that's like my biggest focus at this point.
It's like a Christmas present to Dave Togue that you think the running backs are worse than the special teams. I don't disagree skill position wise that running back is kind of an example of them being at their worst. I understood why there were people that were frustrated on Sunday that you didn't see Damian Pierce and Brashard Smith just like getting every running back touch, because you want to figure out like, are either of these guys part of the future of this team? And if not, then we know what we need to be, what we do and don't have going into this offseason. Because I would imagine that there's a 0% chance that Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco are part of this roster in 2026. When you were talking about it, I started to wonder, you mentioned like a run game coordinator. I was like, well, who's responsible for the run scheme? Is it the running backs coach? Is it the offensive line coach? Is it the offensive coordinator? Or does all of those people just kind of report to Andy Reid and Andy says, this is what we run in my playbook. Now you guys go coach that. Like, I don't know who determines that kind of stuff. I would think that the run scheme, quote unquote, that makes me think offensive line coach. Like whether we are a power team or we're a zone team, I coach my line a certain way, and what we're good at, I'm going to tell Andy based on what I have in my room as an offensive line coach and so on and so forth. And I don't know if that's true. That's just me trying to logic myself into, well, who is responsible for the run scheme so that we can try to improve there. I do think that they definitely need a personnel change. That's abundantly clear. I think that there's a very real possibility that a guy like Breece Hall, even if the Chiefs don't change anything about how often they give the running back the ball, how much they emphasize the run and whatever, someone like Breece Hall that is a household name, and that the Chiefs have already pursued, and then people are going to say, oh my God, they got their guy. I think that just him being on the team legitimizes the run game to an extent where defenses would pay attention more just because they know what he's capable of. And that is where I think they could potentially get the most bang for their buck, is like if you get a Kenny Walker or you get like one of these other big namer free agents that are going to become available, a Breece Hall, a Ken Walker, those are the types of guys that I think defenses would say, we actually have to defend the run because this dude can, take it the distance. And without having explosive players or players that defenders know who they are, that have some level of reputation, I think that is in some ways where the Chiefs got in their own way in the running game, because it was like, we don't respect any of these individual players and we don't respect the scheme because this is Andy Reid. We're talking about, they throw the ball all the time. And so if you don't have a talent to be worried about and you don't have coaching or emphasis to worry about, then teams would just say, we don't have to care about the run. And so if Andy isn't going to change his stripes in year 45, which I think we can all comfortably assume he's not going to start running the ball a whole lot more, it might go up 2 or 3% one year to the next, which even that would probably be a huge jump. But like, I don't think there's going to be some massive change unless it's the way they run the ball, not the amount. It's something about the attitude or the style or whatever. And ultimately, I think the real way that they can start to impact people is just by putting the fear of the run game in their heads. And I think you do that by putting a marquee name up there. Like that is what I think is possibly what they're going to be circling as they head into this offseason.
And also, I think it should be said that I don't think we should become like a run-dominant team. I mean, we have the best player on the planet. Relying on him is the smart thing to do. I would much rather do that than become a run-heavy team and minimize the impact of Patrick Mahomes. I want the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands at all times, but a running game would help him out immensely. I just pulled up the free agent names here. A guy that I was hoping the Chiefs might trade for this offseason, who I'm guessing will get away from his current team, is Tyler Algier. And I've always thought he was.
Oh, he is an unrestricted free agent. So unless they franchise him, Algier is a player that will absolutely be on the market. And who knows how he's going to be valued, but that feels like a guy that a lot of teams would say, yes, give me him. I've seen that he can do things behind Bijan, and he also has a bunch of extra tread on the tires because he hasn't really been a full starter.
Exactly. And the spot rack, I don't know how much we should trust like this market value, but it puts his market value at 1.8 million. I can't imagine I would imagine he would get more than that because it's probably based on like his stats and he's just not getting the opportunities kind of thing. So I don't know where that market value comes from on here. I would obviously take him at that number. But just a guy like that, and then find a little scat back too that they have not really replaced. They kind of use Rashard Smith.
I mean, might be that guy, right?
I mean, draw a line in the sand from when Jerick McKinnon left this offense and the offensive fall off. Like a guy like that who Mahomes always trusted was always finding him on those scrambles. Who those scrambles have just kind of gone to die now. Like he's hardly on the same page with anybody when he scrambles out of the pocket. McKinnon was a guy he could always find on those. So find a little scat back like that. Bring in like Algier to be the run heavy, because I don't think he's too receiver focused. But I mean, I haven't studied these guys at all. But Kenneth Gainwell, he's a guy who's a free agent. He's constantly making plays for Pittsburgh. The way they use him, just a little scat back. So I mean, I would bring in a guy like that, draft a couple guys, but completely revamp the running back room. Which I think that is like, we talk about how we struggle to see what changes they can make. That's a change that's easy to see them making because it's easy and cheap. Like it's just an easy thing to turn over the running back room and bring in a whole bunch of fresh new blood. And I think that could really, even just doing that and sticking with the same basic scheme in the passing game, I think could work a lot. Like I think that could work wonders for this offense and kind of get it back to a good but not great unit. And it's always, I mean, the offense has looked completely terrible the last few weeks here. But I mean, where were they 4 weeks ago? They were second in points per drive or something. So it's also kind of a balance of like, is this unit, is it a big problem or is it a small problem? Which is a question you asked like a few weeks ago. And I still don't quite know the answer from that. I still don't know the answer of that from the Eagles Super Bowl loss. It seems like that was truly a big problem now. But it's all kind of, that's what's just kind of, how do the Chiefs see it? Do they see it as a big problem or a small problem? Are they going to make small changes? Are they going to come out here? Veach likes to be really aggressive when he sees a problem like this. He doesn't sit back and just kind of like let the status quo. When we had a problem like that, we've attacked it aggressively. Usually that's with players, but how do they attack it this time? Because it's like we need bigger changes now than any other time.
Well, I do think that it's worth noting, if you look at the offensive staff, I believe that there are only two guys on that staff that have like long-standing important relationships with Andy Reid, and it's the tight ends coach and it's the offensive line coach. Your quarterbacks coach, your receivers coach, and your running backs coach, and your so it's receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks, I think, are all relatively new hires. Connor Embry took over for, I believe it was Greg Lewis, who's now with Baltimore. He was the guy that he used to play receiver for Andy. When he was our coach, he got in trouble because he touched an opposing player and he got fined. And I don't know if that was like something that led to him not being here anymore. But like they ended up, they had a guy that was coaching receivers and he switched to running backs. And then they hired Connor Embry, who's only been here for 2 seasons, I believe.
That was Greg Lewis. I was just going to look that up because their current running backs coach is Todd Pinkston. And their running backs coach before that was Greg Lewis, who was the receivers coach for 4 years and then became running backs coach.
And Greg Lewis is now in Baltimore. And I'm not sure if Todd Pinkston he played for Andy, but like that doesn't mean he's secured a job for next year.
Well, here's an easy idea. How about hiring like a former running back to be running backs coach? God damn. Running backs coach. Runnings back coach. I can't say it. But yeah, bring in like a running back to do that instead of a receiver to do that. That might be a good idea. Todd Pinkson out here coaching running backs seems like an odd decision. Which if there's one, the biggest like black mark on Andy's history is putting coaches in bad positions. I mean, Juan Castillo, when he switched him from, was it offensive line coach to defensive coordinator? That was the move, right? I mean, that was the season that was the disaster for them that ended up getting him fired.
His last year, yeah.
So, if there is one black mark on his, resume, it is that.
So if Tobe is the offensive coordinator next year, we know it's Andy's last season in Kansas City. That's what you're telling me. Yeah.
That would be amazing, but equally as weird. Actually, less weird probably. Switching a guy from offensive line to defensive coordinator is a bizarre move.
Yeah. There may be some pretty big coaching changes this offseason. It seems like one of the Harbaughs will no longer be employed. And I don't know how long he's been coaching Baltimore, but it seems like that job is going to come open. There's all sorts of questions and crazy headlines about like him being asked about his future and saying, I can only control what I can control. And it sure looks like everybody in Baltimore is circling that he's going to be out.
Bringing John Harbaugh sounds amazing.
John Harbaugh can come coach our special teams. You want to get rid of Dave Tobe? There's one guy that used to coach special teams that might be a little bit better, and he coached under Andy. That'd be a real fun reunion. You know?
like a special teams assistant head coach kind of position. I could totally do that, and I'd be 100% in favor of that. Bring it.
Can you imagine how much the people in Baltimore would be mad if John Harbaugh came and was the special teams coach under Andy Reid?
I don't think they. I mean, would they care? I don't think.
I guess I'd just be like, anytime a chief, even a at that point in their career meaningless chief, Derek Johnson, Jamal Charles, whoever, you go play for the Broncos or the Raiders, and yeah, I'm going to be mad. And the Chiefs aren't a rival in the way that the Steelers or the Bengals are rivals to the Ravens, but the Chiefs are still a rival because we've prevented them from doing anything meaningful in the playoffs. So I don't know, but. All of that to say, folks, that it's going to be a long, interesting offseason.
What if McDermott gets fired too? Bills lose in the first round of playoffs, bring in both McDermott and Harbaugh.
Suddenly, Andy Reid's coaching tree, everybody just comes home for the last few years.
I like it. Here is a
soft landing.
It's like a final reunion tour for Andy Reid, bringing in all his guys. Who else can we bring up here?
Before we go, do you need to air any grievances, being that it is Festus?
Can I just say, I think this is a bigger discussion, but on the 21 questions, one of the questions was who you mad at, and I couldn't think of like a good answer. Like, who am I mad at? Like, no part of the process where I would just look at it like, oh, that's where it went wrong. It's all just kind of like, yeah, I could see that. I'm fine with that. Like, I can see what they're thinking. Like, I'm just kind of, it feels just like 1,000 little things that went against them this year. And there's not like one big thing. I'm not like, oh, because they paid Nick Bolton, this is what they deserve. This is why the season turned out that way. It's not like any one decision in there that's really just like the worst of it. So no grievances really.
I think there's like if there is that's the thing that I'm mad at, it's probably the fact that there isn't one thing. I'm mad that there's a million different things and it's not clean and it's not easy.
Yeah, right.
And who knows how to fix it, because everything on paper looked pretty great, you know? And I mean, when we were sitting there at 5-3, it was like, looks like every other year. You know,
we're Super Bowl favorites. I mean, we were Super Bowl favorites longer than
halfway through the season. Everything's looking good. Everything's going to start coming together. Can't wait till December.
we've probably been Super Bowl favorites longer than any other team this year. Like maybe, I guess the Rams have probably been it like the last 5 or 6 weeks. Eagles probably in there at the beginning somewhat, but like we were a good chunk in the middle of the season there, Super Bowl favorites for 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, when we weren't even in the playoffs.
Insane look up. One thing I will bring up that I don't think anyone else has brought up, we talked about it real early in the season. Mahomes' haircut.
You think he's lost some of his pizzazz because of the haircut?
Yep. Professional looking haircut. I'm not gonna lie. I want the rat tail back. I want rat tail road dog Mahomes. A tweet I put out one time, and Bobby Stroop retweeted it. I was so pumped.
Yeah.
But yeah, his haircut, I didn't like it early on, and now like that we're looking for things to blame. I'm blaming that. I'm giving that a piece of the pie, a good old piece, nice chunk of pie.
I disagree. That's fine.
Yeah.
I thought the haircut was a nice change. And I'm not blaming, this is not a Samson situation. He did not lose his powers because he got a haircut.
See it all the time. Ben Roethlisberger cut his hair once, lost his power. Jake Plummer cut his hair, lost his power.
But did you read this review of 1587 Steakhouse?
What? No.
Oh God, I've got to send it to you.
Oh, that means random review.
I'll tell people if you guys are interested. I'll tweet it out if I haven't already. Liz Cook, who was like the premier food writer in Kansas City for I don't know, probably 8-10 years, something like that. She was asked to review 1587, and she went there on multiple occasions and ordered a bunch of different stuff, and then wrote an article about it. And if you're a restaurant person like me, it's very fascinating.
Why?
She just tore them apart. It's bad.
Oh, really?
It's a very bad restaurant. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Just a lot of, but like it to most people who aren't super restauranty like me, it may not mean a whole lot. But it just sounded like there was a bunch of really strange choices, and also that like it's a steakhouse and the worst thing on the menu are the steaks. Is what a lot of people were saying.
So is she shitting on like the food or like the?
Oh, it's a little bit of everything. It's like, I mean, she said, it's an athlete restaurant, so you kind of have to like take it all with a grain of salt. Like, what do you expect? But
athletes aren't cooking the food. I would expect them to hire good chefs.
Sure.
What the hell does that mean?
It's a lot of. She made it sound like no one will get out of this restaurant spending less than like $200 or $300, and because it's in the Lowe's Hotel, which is like the hotel where the road teams always play, that it's like. Or sorry, they always stay. They always play.
We'll play them anywhere. We'll play them in the Lowe's Hotel.
Play them at the Lowe's Hotel.
We will lose to the Alabama Crimson Tide at the Lowe's Hotel.
It's like you're going to have built-in clientele that are all very, very wealthy and so on and so forth. But she talked about like their ice cream comes from Betty Ray's and they don't tell anybody. Their desserts come from McLean's, but they don't advertise it at all. And so it's like, how serious a restaurant are you? If you're asking other restaurants to do your stuff, that's a weird thing. And then not promoting that these other Kansas City staples are doing it is an even weirder decision on top of it. Just a bunch of different little restaurant-y interesting points in there. Talking about some of the food and so on and so forth.
I was hoping the review was just going to be shitting on the Chiefs team. Like that's
no, it was not.
Man, the lowest form of Twitter is just taking whatever is going on in front of you and just turning it into a negative about the Chiefs. You're just like watching something like, I'm watching Seinfeld over here and so-and-so is going on. And it just reminded me of how shitty the Chiefs are. Sin tweet.
That's the internet.
All the time.
Folks, this has been another episode of Amateur Hour. I am Ryan Scott Hall. He is his Dirkness. I hope everyone enjoys a very, very Merry Christmas despite whatever happens on TV. You don't have to watch it. No one has to watch the game.
I have to. BJ said he would fire me if I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking that it might be more enjoyable to watch like the weird scroll that's like one play at a time. Just like put the game center on ESPN or something on my phone browser instead of actually watching the
across
game.
the screen.
Yeah. And that's it. Don't need to see the plays. Just give me the numbers, the dots, and I'll be good. It's going to be rough on Christmas. So just ignore it, folks. And, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you guys next week.